Good morning, one and all. Myself, Tawkir Sheikh. I'm going to present PPT on embedded system um, under the guidance of Professor Sharad Jadhav. These are my content of presentation: Introduction to IoT, Introduction to Embedded System, and Building Embedded System. Introduction to IoT. IoT basically is a of physical objects embedded with sensors and softwares. It is a Its objects are smart buildings, home appliances like washing machine, TV, TV, refrigerators, etc. Civil engineering structures like bridges, railways, wearable devices like smart watches, smart glasses, etc. And possibly everything uh, in the world is connected by IoT nowadays. um, and Why IoT is used now? Because the items can be more functionable by using the smart technology called as IoT, and items can be managed in a easier way by it. And Why IoT is becoming more realistic? Embedded chips are becoming cheaper, smaller, and they require low power consumption. Communication is becoming faster. Challenges of IoT: the large amount of chips are required. As the for IoT to become more common, chips will be required to get more cheaper and smaller. The big data demand, as the IoT will be used widely, then the demand of the data would be huge, and so the generated data must be stored in the cloud properly. Computation required. There would be a higher requirement of management of it. By cloud computing, we have to manage the data. Power consumption, as we have seen that the chip should consume less power so that it can be feasible for usage for long term. Security is another major challenge for IoT. And standards, the as the each and every government standards must be maintained for by the IoT appliances or applications. Introduction to embedded system. um, Embedded system basically is an application specific computer system. It is built into a larger system. It is often used with real time computing constraints. um, why we add a computer to a larger system? It is added because to get better performance, more functionalities, lesser cost, and more dependability. CPUs versus MCUs and embedded system. Microprocessor or CPU. It is a single processor core that is used for fetching, decoding, and executing tasks. Normally, it is used for general purpose computing, but it requires memories with input and outputs. Microcontrollers, they are single core processors. They have memory blocks, digital input outputs, analog input outputs, and other basic peripherals. They are used for basic control purpose such as embedded applications. Embedded system. It is implemented using MCUs. It is often integrated into a larger mechanical or electrical system. It uses real-time constraints. Benefits of embedded system: greater performance and efficiency. Software would make it possible that embedded system or IoT can deliver better performance. Lower cost, as we have seen that the if the expense of the component can be reduced by the embedded system, manufacturing would get reduced, operations also would get reduced. More features, like we can even add more features to the electronic device or application by using the embedded system. And increase dependability, like adaptive systems which can compensate for the failures can be added. And better diagnostics to improve the repair time would reduce the would help if a device get any problem in future. Functions of embedded system. Closed loop control system. Um, it is used to process and output to maintain desired set points like temperature, speed, direction, etc. Sequencing. It steps through the different stages based on environment and system. Signal processing. It helps to remove the noise and select desired single function features. Communication and networking. It is used to exchange the information quickly. Attributes of embedded system. Um, uh, Interfacing with a larger system and environment. Um, it is used for a voltage to represent a physical value. Power electronics for it is used for power electronics for driving motors and solenoids. Digital interface for communicating with other devices like simple switches. Complex displays can also be used. Concurrent and reactive behaviors. It must be respond sequence and combination of events. Real-time systems have deadlines which must be maintained, and it must performs multiple separate activities concurrently. Fault handling. The many systems must operate independently for a long period of time, which require them to handle fault without crashing. More often, the fault handling code is larger and more complex than a normal case code. Diagnostic. It will help the service personnel to determine the problems quickly. Constraints of embedded system. Cost. As we have seen, as we know that the market is extremely competitive, so the products must be priced properly so that it can be used by the wide number of people. Size and weight limits. The size of a device must be compact and portable, so that it would be liable for people to use it properly. Power and energy limits. The device must be power efficient and should have a cooling limits as it shouldn't get heated. Environment. The temperature should of the temperature may range. Temperature would be like -40 degrees Celsius to 125 degrees Celsius or even more, so that so the device must be working properly in between this temperature. Building embedded system. Building embedded system using MCUs. In most of the embedded system, MCUs are chosen to be the best solutions, because because of low development and manufacturing cost, easy porting and updating, light footprints, relatively low power consumption, satisfactory performance for low-end products. What is Embed platform? Embed is a platform used for developing applications on ARM Cortex-M processors. It includes Embed software development kit, which consists of C++ software libraries like peripheral drivers, networking, RTOs, and runtime environment. Software tools such as build tools, test, and debug scripts are also included. Embed hardware kit consists of recipes to build custom hardware devices, like interface framework and schematic that can be used to easily create development boards. Embed's hardware platform off the shelf development boards are off the shelf development boards. Embed supports an online IDE which provides free instant access of web-based toolchain for application development. So these are some of the reference of my PPT, and thank you, sir.